sa India ang biglang nasunog.
Ating alamin kung nakalika sa mga pasaherong sakay nito mula sa mga detalye ng balitang ibabahagi maya-maya. Magandang gabi. Ako po si Ricky Matay.
Ako si Nina Richie Alago Flores. Ito ang mata ng Agila International. Para naman sa mga headlines ngayong araw ng Biyernes.
Inanunsyo ng Philippine Embassy sa Seoul bilang ng mga Pilipinong walang trabaho pumalo sa 1.97 million nitong Oktubre.
Japan magbibigay ng karagdagang defense equipment sa Pilipinas.
French President Emmanuel Macron naghahanap ng panibagong Prime Minister.
Northern California coast niyanig ng magnitude 7 earthquake.
At Manny Pacquiao pasok sa Boxing Hall of Fame. Inanunsyo po ng Philippine Embassy sa Seoul na hindi apektado ng political tension sa South Korea ang mga biyahe sa naturang bansa.
Sa abiso ng embahada, patuloy ang operasyon ng mga paliparan, mga pantalan at iba pang mga public transport. Nilinaw ni Department of Foreign Affairs Undersecretary Eddie De Vega na walang inisyong alert level sa South Korea. Kasunod dito ng pagdeklara ng South Korean President na si Yoon Suk-yeol ng martial law nitong Martes ng gabi. Pero binawi ang deklarasyon ng batas militar matapos na napagkasundo ang bumoto ng kontra sa martial law ang Parliament ng Seoul.
Muli namang tumaas ang bilang ng mga tambay sa Pilipinas nitong buwan ng Oktubre. Ayon sa tala ng Philippine Statistics Authority o PSA, pumalo sa 1.97 million ang bilang ng mga Pilipinong walang trabaho. Mas mataas po ito kumpara sa 1.89 million jobless individuals na naitala noong buwan ng Setyembre. At kaugnay nito ay bumaba naman ang bilang ng mga Pilipinong may trabaho sa 48.16 million mula sa 49.87 million noong September 2024.
Maglulunsad ang Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas sa BSP ng bagong serye ng mga perang papel na gawa sa polymer materials sa susunod na taon. Ayon sa Bangko Sentral, ang hakbang na ito ay kasunod ng 2 taong matagumpay nilang paglulunsad ng 1,000 pisong banknote na yari sa polymer plastic materials. Target ng BSP na sa unang quarter pa lamang ng 2025 ay ilabas na ang polymer bills. Bagamat hindi pa inilalabas ang disenyo ng bagong 50 pesos, 100 pesos at 200 pesos, pati na rin ang 500 pesos, maaaring nakapaloob dito ang mga larawan ng mga endemic na mga hayop at halaman sa bansa.
Nakahandang mag-deploy ng 40,000 pulis ang Philippine National Police o PNP sa paparating na holiday season. Ide-deploy sila sa mga matataong lugar kagaya ng mga mall, transport terminals at mga pasyalan na inaasahang dadagsain ng mga tao. Sa kasalukuyan, walang namomonitor na anumang seryosong banta sa seguridad ang PNP kaugnay sa nalalapit na holiday season. Patuloy na nakaalerto ang mga otoridad para matiyak nila na hindi sila malulusutan ng masasamang loob.
Asahan ang panibagong dagdag bawas sa mga produktong petrolyo sa susunod na linggo. Batay sa Department of Energy Oil Industry Management Bureau, posibleng tumaas ng 10 hanggang 30 sentimos ang kada litro sa gasolina. Habang 40 hanggang 70 sentimos naman ang posibleng rollback sa presyo ng kada litro ng diesel. 40 sentimos hanggang 60 sentimos naman ang posibleng bawas sa presyo kada litro ng kerosene o gaas. Ayon sa ahensya, ang sanhi ng paggalaw ng presyo sa produktong petrolyo ay ang hidwaan sa pagitan ng Israel at Hezbollah at ang desisyon ng ilan sa oil-producing countries na palawigin pa ang pagbawas sa supply.
Nako, asahan naman po ang karagdagang singil sa kuryente simula sa Enero ng susunod na taon. Ito ay matapos payagan ng Energy Regulatory Commission o ERC na kolektahin sa mga consumers ang mahigit sa 3 billion pesos na pambayad sa ancillary services ng National Grid Corporation of the Philippines noong Pebrero. Ayon sa ERC, ang Luzon ay magkakaroon ng 12 sentimos kada kilowatt-hour na dagdag singil sa kuryente sa loob ng 3 buwan. 12 sentimos kada kilowatt-hour din ang dagdag naman sa Visayas sa loob ng 6 na buwan, habang 3 sentimos kada kilowatt-hour naman ang taas singil sa kuryente sa Mindanao sa loob ng 3 buwan.
Nakilahok ang Pilipinas sa multilateral maritime cooperative activity sa loob ng Philippine Exclusive Economic Zone o EEZ. Sa kalatas na inilabas ng US Indo-Pacific Command, ang aktibidad na ito ay ang pagpapakita ng komitment ng tatlong bansa para isulong ang malaya at bukas na Indo-Pasipiko. Kasamang lumahok sa Joint Maritime Activity ang barko ng US na P-8A Poseidon, BRP Andres Bonifacio ng Pilipinas at ang Murasame-class destroyer na JS Samidaire ng Japan. Noong buwan ng Setyembre pa ang huling isinagawang maritime cooperative activity sa teritoryo ng Pilipinas kung saan kasamang lumahok ang mga bansang Japan, Estados Unidos at New Zealand.
Nakatakdang makatanggap ang Pilipinas ng karagdagan pang defense equipment mula sa Japan. Ito po ay sa gitna ng mga banta sa pinag-aagawang karagatan sa West Philippine Sea o WPS. Ang Japan ay isang malaking taga-suporta ng Pilipinas laban sa pag-aangkin ng China sa naturang katubigan. Kabilang sa ibibigay na tulong ng Japan ay nagkakahalaga ng 611 million pesos o katumbas po yan ng 1.6 billion yen para sa pagbibigay ng coastal radar systems at automatic rigid hull inflatable boats. Ang naturang coastal radar systems ay ginagamit para ma-detect at matunton ang mga maliliit na fishing vessels, gayon din para mapangasiwaan ang vessel traffic, habang ang rigid hull inflatable boats naman ay magaan at fast high-performance boats na ginagamit ng military para sa pagpapatrolya, gayon din sa search and rescue operations. Ayon naman sa Department of Foreign Affairs o DFA, susuportahan ng naturang tulong ang ginagawang mga hakbangin ng Department of National Defense at Armed Forces of the Philippines sa pagpoprotekta sa Pilipinas at pagpapahusay pa ng kapasidad ng ating bansa para malabanan ang mga banta sa kaayusan, katatagan at seguridad sa Indo-Pacific region.
Well-planned kung ilalarawan ni Senador Ronald Bato de la Rosa ang pagkakakasa ng reklamong impeachment laban kay Vice President Sara Duterte. Giit ng senador kahit ilang beses nang nagpaliwanag si VP Sara ukol sa paano ginastos ng Office of the Vice President ang pondo nito, partikular la ang intelligence funds, ay may planong patalsikin sa pwesto ang bise. Anya, kahit nagpadala na ng text message si Pangulong Ferdinand Marcos Jr. sa mga kongresista na huwag nang ituloy ang impeachment complaints kay VP Sara dahil hindi ito makatutulong sa Pilipinas, ay nagkaroon pa rin ng kasong impeachment. Kaya payo ni De La Rosa sa mga kasama niya sa Senado, paghandaan na ang worst scenario sa oras na sumampa na sa mataas na kapulungan ang impeachment laban sa bise.
Nakaplano na yan nakaplano na yan. Well planned yan, well planned. Kaya we are preparing for the worst. Sabi nga lang, kakapalabas lang yung text ng presidente nung araw na ito, kinabukasan, nandun na sila, nag-file na sila kaagad. From the very beginning, kahit harap siya o hindi, nakaplano na yung impeachment na yan. Nakaplano na yan. Hindi man yan mag-imbestiga kung walang balak na impeachment. Lukuhin nila yung pagong... Nakaplano na yan. Kahit naharap siya o hindi, pupunta talaga sa impeachment yan. Otherwise, kung wala silang balak i-impeach si VP Sara, hindi yan nag-imbestiga.
Dati nang sinabi ni Vice President Sara na mahalaga ang ginagampan ng papel ng isang bise dahil ayon sa batas, kapag nawala ang presidente, ang vice-presidente ang siyang susunod sa pwesto.
Our Constitution provides for the line of succession. The Vice President is the first in line. So ibig sabihin, the state is required, is mandated by the Constitution and by laws to protect the Vice President. Kasi pag nawala ang Presidente, siya yung susunod. Kaya pinoprotektahan din siya. Kasi siya yung reserve. Kasi pag hindi mo pinoprotektahan ng reserve mo, wala ka ng reserve. Ang gagawin niyan, pipili sila sa mga members ng Congress. O pabalik na naman tayo kay Martin doon. So, baka nga ganun yung gusto nilang gawin, no? Hindi na sila masusunod sa Constitution.
Susunod, President Yoon pinaaresto ang ilang party leaders sa South Korea.
Russia handang gumamit ng anumang paraan para sa Ukraine war.
At France magtatalaga ng bagong Prime Minister. Mga detalye ng mga balitang yan at iba pa sa pagbabalik na mata ng Agila International.
Alam na. Ano dala mo? Ano dala mo? Ano service mo?
Bawal ang pagpamatay ng mga white birds sa
additional complaint. But if ang hahabulin is yung lumber,
Nothing is quite as simple as it seems. To understand the world better, we need to take a closer look. Experience knowledge. Tomorrow today. Is quite as simple as it seems. To understand the world better, we need to take a closer look. Experience knowledge. Tomorrow today.
Nasa gitna ng matinding political crisis ngayon ang South Korea matapos ideklara ni President Yoon Suk-yeol ang martial law sa bansa nitong Martes, Disyembre at 3 ng taong 2024. Nagdulot ang deklarasyon ng kaguluhan sa bansa sa matinding pagbatikos ng mga mamamayan, nagdulot naman ng isang malawakang protesta. At bagamat nabawi na ang martial law matapos ang botohan ng National Assembly, malabong ito na ang katapusan sa political tension sa nasabing bansa. Unang inanunsyo ni President Yoon ang deklarasyon sa isang pahayag na ipinalabas sa telebisyon noong Martes ng gabi.
북한 공산 세력의 위협으로부터 자유 대한민국을 수호하고 우리 국민의 자유와 행복을 약탈하고 있는 파렴치한 종북 반국가 세력들을 일거에 척결하고 자유 헌정 질서를 지키기 위해 비상계엄을 선포합니다. 저는 이 비상계엄을 통해 망국의 나락으로 떨어지고 있는 자유 대한민국을 재건하고 지켜낼 것입니다. 이를 위해 저는 지금까지 패약질을 일삼은 망국의 원흉 반국가 세력을 반드시 척결하겠습니다.
Sa kanyang pahayag, inakusahan niya ang oposisyon ng pagsisimula ng isang rebelyon at pagtatangkang pabagsakin ang free democracy ng South Korea. Subalit, posible rin na ang kanyang desisyon ay naaapektuhan ng kasalukuyang investigasyon laban sa kanyang asawa. Kaugnay po yan ng isang handbag na umano'y improper gift. Pati na rin ang tuluyang bumababa na public support para sa administrasyon ni Yoon ay isa ring dahilan. Bagamat nasa ikalawang taon pa lamang si Yoon ng kanyang 5 taong termino, ang kanyang approval rating ay bumagsak na sa mas mababa pa sa 20% noong Nobyembre lamang. Bukod po dito, naiipit ang kanyang pamumuno sa parliament na pumipigil sa kanya na maipatupad ang kanyang mga plano. At higit pa ito sa karaniwang political deadlock. Ito ay isang masalimuot na political fight kung saan nagsagawa na si Yoon ng isang kaso laban sa oposisyon, habang ang oposisyon naman ay sinubukan ng patalsikin ang ilang mga miyembro ng kanyang administrasyon. Sa pahayag, idinagdag ni Yoon na ang North Korea ay may kinalaman sa kanyang desisyon, bagamat walang malinaw na ebidensyang sumusuporta rito. Matapos po ang deklarasyon, inatasan ni Yoon ang mga medical personnel ng bansa na halos buong taon nang nagwelga na bumalik sa trabaho sa loob ng 48 oras. Ipinagbawal rin niya ang anumang political activities, kabilang ang mga pagpupulong at rally ng mga partido. Subalit, ito ay hindi sinunod dahil agarang nagpulong ang National Assembly. Pinalibutan ng armed guards ang National Assembly Building noong Martes ng gabi, kung saan 190 sa 300 members ng Parliament ang dumalo upang magkaisa sa pagbasura ng martial law. Nagpatuloy rin ang mga protesta sa buong gabing iyon. Halos lahat ng mamamayan sa South Korea ay tumutol sa deklarasyon ni Yoon. Marami ang lumahok sa demonstrasyon at nagkaroon pa ng karahasan sa pagitan ng mga nagpoprotesta at security forces ng South Korea. Parehong pinuna ng lider ng oposisyon at ng lider ng sariling partido ni Yoon ang kanyang naging desisyon at tinawag itong labag sa konstitusyon. Kinabukasan, nang bawiin na ang martial law, nagpatuloy pa rin ang malawakang protesta na nanawagan naman sa pababain sa pwesto itong si Yoon. Hindi ito ang unang pagkakataon ng martial law sa kasaysayan ng South Korea. Noong 1948, unang idineklara ang martial law ni President Syngman Rhee upang sugpuin ang isang komunistang rebelyon. Noong 1980 naman, muling idineklara ito ni Chun Do-hwan matapos niyang makuha ang presidency sa isang coup kasunod ng pagpatay kay President Park Chung-hee noong taong 1979. Si Park, isang dating general, ay nagdeklara rin ng martial law upang sugpuin ang mga sumasalungat sa kanyang pamumuno. Matapos ideklara ang martial law noong May 1980, nagprotesta ang mga mag-aaral laban sa dictatorship ni Chun. Tumagon itong si Chun sa protesta gamit ang militar na nauwi naman sa tinatawag na Gwangju Uprising. Halos 200 po ang napatay. Subalit sinasabing mga pamilya ng mga biktima na mas mataas pa ang tunay na bilang ng mga nasawi noon. Ang karahasang ito ang naging catalyst sa pagbabago na nagbigay daan sa pag-transition ng South Korea sa pagiging isang democracy noong taong 1987. Ngayon, pinapayagan pa rin ng konstitusyon ng bansa ang pagdeklara ng martial law bilang tugon sa digmaan o iba pang national emergencies. Subalit, nagbigay rin ito ng kapangyarihan sa National Assembly na baliktarin ang deklarasyon sa pamamagitan ng isang boto. Ayon po sa mga eksperto, Nagkaroon ng malaking pagkakamali si President Yoon sa kanyang naging desisyon dahil hindi katulad ng mga nakaraang leaders, wala siyang suporta mula sa parlamento. Sa kasalukuyan, nagpasa na ang National Assembly ng formal na panawagan para sa impeachment ni Yoon. At ang oposisyon ay may hawak na halos 200 seats malapit sa 2/3 na boto na kinakailangan upang maipasa ang impeachment. At bukod po dito, posible ring bumoto laban kay Yoon ang ilang miyembro ng kanyang sariling partido, katulad ng ginawa nila upang ibasura ang martial law. Gayunpaman, 6 sa 9 na judges ng Constitutional Court ng South Korea ang kailangan pa ring sumang-ayon upang maaprubahan ang impeachment. Anuman ang kahihinatnan ni Yoon, nananatili ang malalim na pagkakahati-hati sa pagitan ng dalawang pangunahing partido sa bansa at ang mataas na pagkadismaya ng publiko sa politika, hindi lamang kay Yoon. Ang biglaang deklarasyon ng martial law doon ay tila isang spark lamang na maaaring umanong magdulot ng mas malaki pang problema para sa South Korea.
Sa ibang balita, nanawagan si Taiwanese President Lai Ching-te sa China nitong Biyernes na tigilan ang paggamit ng dahas at huwag gumawa ng kahit anong aksyon na ikasisira ng katatagan ng rehiyon. Ipinahayag ito ni Lai dahil sa inaasahang panibagong military exercises na gagawin ng China sa paligid ng Taiwan bilang tugon sa biyahe ni Lai sa Pacific countries. Kabilang sa pagbisita na ito ang mga stopover ng Pangulo sa Hawaii at Guam na parehas teritoryo ng Estados Unidos. Dagdag pa ni Lai, umaasa siya na sana ay bumalik ang China sa rules-based international order. Sinabi rin niya na hindi makakamit ng Beijing ang respeto galing sa international community kung ito ay gagamit ng pananakot at karahasan gaya na nga ng military drills nito.
Iniutos si South Korean President Yoon Suk-yeol na arestuhin si Hang Dong-hoon, ang leader ng sarili niyang ruling party na The People Power. Pinaaresto rin ni President Yoon si Lee Jae-myung, ang leader naman ng opposition party sa South Korea. Ayon po kay Yoon, si Hang at Lee ay kabilang sa mga anti-state forces. Ang mga naarestong opisyal ay kukulong sa isang detention center sa Gwacheon City.
Arrest him! Yan ang sigaw ng mga miyembro ng oposisyon sa loob ng National Assembly Building. Nais nila na arestuhin ang mga otoridad si South Korean President Yoon Suk-yeol. Samantala, ilang grupo na ang dismayado sa pamumuno ni Yoon na nagprotesta sa harapan ng National Assembly. Hiling ng grupo ay arestuhin din ang presidente ng South Korea dahil sa pagdedeklara nito ng martial law. Ayon sa oposisyon, pansariling interes lamang ang dahilan ni President Yoon kung kaya ito ay nagdeklara ng emergency martial law, kaya dapat lamang daw na mawala ito sa pwesto.
Samantala, ipinaliwanag naman ni Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov na handa ang Moscow na gumamit ng anumang paraan upang makamit ang tagumpay sa digmaan sa Ukraine. Noong nakaraang buwan, gumamit ang Russia ng tinatawag nilang Oreshnik hypersonic missile sa lungsod ng Dnipro sa Ukraine. Sinabi ni Russian President Vladimir Putin na ang missile na ito ay isang uri ng weapon na hindi mapapabagsak. Dagdag pa niyang maaari ring gamitin ng Russia ang iba pang katulad na missile sa battlefield kung kinakailangan. At muling ipinagtanggol ni Lavrov ang panig nila sa gera. Sinabi niyang ang Western countries ay nakikipaglaban upang mapanatili ang kanilang hegemonya, samantalang ang Russia ay nakikipaglaban para sa kanilang legitimate na security concerns.
Nagbabala ang United Kingdom na ang buong mundo ay nasa ikatlong nuclear age. Ayon kay Admiral Tony Radakin, hepe ng UK Defense Staff, kailangan tanggapin ng Britanya na seryoso ang mga bantang kinaharap nito kahit na mga maliit ang tsansa na maglunsad ang Russia ng direktang nuclear attack sa United Kingdom o sa mga kaalyado nito sa NATO. Paliwanag pa na opisyal nagsisikap naman ang maraming bansa na higpitan ang pagkalat ng nuclear weapons, subalit komplikado anya ang kasalukuyang panahon dahil sa lumalawak na teknolohiya at kawalan ng seguridad ukol sa nuclear weapons.
Nangako si French President Emmanuel Macron na magtatalaga ito ng bagong Prime Minister sa mga darating na araw. Ito ay matapos mapatalsik sa pwesto si Michel Barnier dahil sa isang no confidence vote ng Parliament nitong Miyerkules lamang. Sinabi ni President Macron na mas pinili ng kanyang mga kalaban sa politika ang gulo at hindi man lamang anya inisip na mga katunggali niya ang interes ng mga botante. Tumanggi rin si Macron na bumaba sa pwesto at sinabing manunungkulan siya hanggang sa matapos ang kanyang termino sa taong 2027.
Nakontrol ng Syrian rebels ang pangunahing lungsod ng Hama matapos ang pag-atras ng mga sundalo ng Syrian Army. Idineklara ni Abu Mohammed al-Jawlani, ang lider ng militanteng grupo ng Hayat Tahrir al-Sham, ang victory at tiniyak na wala nang magaganap na paghihiganti pa ng mga militar. Bago nito ay pinakawala ng mga HTS fighters ang kanilang mga kaalyado at mga inmates habang nagkumahog ang mga sundalo para maprotektahan ang buhay ng mga sibilyan. Ang Hama ay may populasyon ng mahigit sa 1 milyong katao. Ito ay may layong 110 kilometers timog ng Aleppo. Ayon sa United Kingdom-based monitoring group na Syrian Observatory for Human Rights o SOHR, aabot na sa 720 katao kabilang ang 111 civilians na ang nasawi mula nang magsimula ang pag-atake ng mga rebelde. Nasa mahigit kalahating milyong katao na rin ang nasawi sa Syria mula nang magsimula ang civil war noong 2011 matapos ang pagkakaaresto ni President Bashar al-Assad ng mga nagsasagawa ng pro-democracy protest. Ayon naman sa Syrian Defense Ministry ay pansamantala lamang at bahagi ng kanilang plano ang pagsuko ng naturang lungsod.
وأؤكد أن ما حدث في مدينة حماة اليوم هو إجراء تكتيكي مؤقت. ما زالت قواتنا في محيط مدينة حماة وهي على أتم الاستعداد والجاهزية لتنفيذ واجباتها الوطنية والدستورية.
Ipinagmalaki ngayon ng Israeli military na kanilang napatay sa pag-atake ang senior Hamas commander sa Al-Mawasi humanitarian area. Kasama si Osama Ghanim, ang senior Hamas member at ilang mga Palestinian fighters sa mga nasawi sa insidente. Sa kabuuan ay aabot na sa 20 katao ang nasawi at marami ang sugatan sa airstrikes ng Israel. Sa nasabing pag-atake ay ikinagalit ng Medical Aid for Palestinians o MAP, ang British aid charity, dahil sa pagkasira ng nasa 40 tents sa kanilang kampo kung saan naninirahan at nag-ooperate ang kanilang mga tauhan. Nanawagan ang grupo para sa isang ceasefire dahil sa itinuturing nila ang lugar bilang safe zone kung saan nagpapagamot at nagsisilbing sanctuary para sa mga sibilyan.
Nanawagan ng Hezbollah sa mga Arab countries na tulungan silang muling makabangon. Ang nasabing panawagan ay kasunod ng pagpayag ng Israel ng ceasefire sa Lebanon. Ayon sa Hezbollah na mahalaga ang nasabing pondo ng mga Arab countries para maipatayo ang mga nasirang gusali dahil sa pambobomba ng Israel. Una nang sinabi ng Hezbollah leader na kanilang bibigyan ng bawat pamilya ng tig $14,000 para sa mga pamilya na nasira ang kanilang buhay dahil sa pagbomba ng Israel.
سنكون كحزب الله إلى جانب سوريا في إحباط أهداف هذا العدوان بما نتمكن منه إن شاء الله تعالى. خلال شهر تشرين الثاني 2024 قرر حزب الله صرف هدية مالية هي هدية الشعب الإيراني وحزب الله. هذه الهدية تتراوح بين $300 و $400. القيمة الإجمالية التي دفعت $57 مليون. شملت 172 ألف عائلة. كل من هدم منزله بشكل كامل ولا يستطيع أن يعود إليه إذا كان في بيروت أو الضاحية يدفع له $14,000 لمدة سنة بين إيجار وأثاث، وإذا كان خارج بيروت يدفع له $12,000 كإيجار وأثاث في آن معا.
Nanawagan ng hepe ng United Nations para sa agarang humanitarian access para sa mga sibilyang nangangailangan sa Syria. Narito po ang report ni Jessica Bautista.
Hinikayat ni United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres ang mga may impluwensya na gawin ang kanilang bahagi para sa nagdurusang mga tao sa Syria. Anya, lahat ng partido ay may obligasyong protektahan ang mga sibilyan.
I want to say a few words about the grave and dramatic developments in Syria unfolding before our eyes. I just spoke with President Erdogan of Turkey to discuss the latest. I emphasized the urgent need for immediate humanitarian access to all civilians in need and the return to the UN-facilitated political process to end the bloodshed. All parties are obligated under international law to protect civilians. Now, this latest offensive was launched into government-controlled areas by Hayat Tahrir al-Sham, a group sanctioned by the Security Council, along with a broad range of other armed opposition groups. I once again urge all those with influence to do their part for the long-suffering people of Syria, and I thank you.
Noong Huwebes, nakuha ng mga rebelde ang lungsod ng Hama. Ito ay sinasabing malaking tagumpay para sa partido ng mga rebelde matapos ang isang linggong pagpapaputok sa hilagang bahagi ng bansa. Ito rin ay bagong dagok kay Pangulong Bashar al-Assad at sa kanyang mga kaalyadong Russia at Iran. Jessica Bautista para sa mata ng Agila International. Trusted, connected, on point.
Nagprotesta ang mga manggagawa sa Argentina laban sa administrasyon ni President Javier Milei. Narito si Kathleen Gao para sa report.
Nagprotesta ang mga organisasyon ng manggagawa sa Argentina sa Buenos Aires laban sa gobyerno ni Pangulong Javier Milei. Ayon kay Claudio Arevalo, Secretary General ng State Workers Association sa Buenos Aires, hinayaan kasi ng administrasyong Milei ang mga retirado na walang benepisyo ng gamot. Nagsisante ng higit 45,000 state workers at pabigat sa pasanin ng mga mahihirap. Nagmarcha ang mga demonstrador sa De Julio Avenue patungong Casa Rosada Presidential Palace. Ang mahigpit na pamumuno at mga tuntunin ni Milei ay nagmitsa ng mga protesta at strike sa bansa. Layon ng mga tuntuning ito ang pagputol ng public spending sa gitna ng resesyon sa bansa. Kasama sa mga nagpoprotesta ang iba't ibang unyon, kasama ang mga kumakatawan sa transportasyon, edukasyon, kalusugan at sektor pampubliko. Kathleen Ga para sa mata ng Agila International, trusted, connected, on point.
Pinatalsik ng Paraguay ang isang diplomat ng China dahil sa umano'y pangingialam ito sa kanilang domestic affairs. Si Xu Wei, isang envoy ng China, ay nasa Paraguay upang dumalo sa isang yearly UNESCO conference. Subalit, sa isang biglaang pagbisita sa Congress, sinabi umano ni Xu na pumili sila ng mabuti sa pagitan ng Taiwan at China. Ang Paraguay ay kabilang sa kakaunti na lamang ng mga bansang nananatili pang may diplomatic relations sa Taiwan. Ayon sa Ministry of Foreign Affairs ng bansa, kinansela na nila ang visa ni Xu Wei at binigyan siya ng 24 na oras upang umalis ng kanilang bansa. Idineklara na rin siyang persona non grata.
Sinabi ng Estados Unidos na hindi ito sang-ayon sa konklusyon ng Amnesty International na nagkakasala ang Israel ng genocide laban sa mga Palestino. Bernard Gonzaga para sa report.
Ayon kay State Department Deputy Spokesperson Vedant Patel, walang basihan ang akusasyon ng Amnesty International laban sa Israel. Ito ay matapos maglathala ang Amnesty International ng isang report na nagkakasala ng genocide ang bansang Israel dahil sa ginawa nitong laban sa Palestinians sa Gaza.
As you've heard us say previously, Said, we disagree with the conclusions of such a report. we have said previously and continue to find that the allegations of genocide are unfounded. But there continues to be a vital role that civil society organizations like Amnesty International and human rights groups and NGOs play in providing information and analysis as it relates to Gaza and what's going on.
Sa kabila ng hindi pagsang-ayon ng US sa akusasyon ng Amnesty International, sinabi ni Patel na hindi binabago nito ang pag-aalala ng Estados Unidos ukol sa lumalalang humanitarian situation sa Gaza.
And we continue to stress at every turn that there is a moral and strategic priority for Israel to comply with international humanitarian law. And that is something we're going to continue to raise with partners in the region and directly with Israel. But
Ani Patel, kung ang nais ng lahat ay matapos na ang gyera, ang dapat na mangyari ay magkasundo na ang lahat ng partido.
ultimately, Saeed, truly the best thing that can happen if we want to see improvement in the humanitarian conditions in Gaza, if we want to see the remaining hostages return home, and if we want to see an end to the conflict, is for the parties to work towards an agreement to stop the war. And that's what we're continuing to be focused on.
So let me just...
Bernhard Gonzaga, para sa Mata ng Agila, International, Trusted, Connected, On Point.
Pinuri naman ni U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken ang desisyon ni South Korean President Yoon Suk-yeol na kaagad na bawiin ang martial law.
No, that's correct. We were not aware. We're obviously watching this very carefully. Very good to see that the martial law edict was withdrawn by President Yoon after the Parliament voted against it. And for us, this is one of the most critical alliances that we have anywhere in the world. South Korean democracy is one of the most powerful stories anywhere in the world. It's very important that any disputes, differences, political differences be resolved peacefully and pursuant to the rule of law. That's what we're seeing now. That's what's so important to sustain.
Sinabi nitong marapat na idaan sa mapayapang pag-uusap ang anumang hindi pagkakaunawaan sa mga mambabatas. Bilang isang kaalyado bansa ng US, ang South Korea ay kanilang nirerespeto ang anumang desisyon na ipatutupad ng lider nito. Dagdag pa nitong mula pa sa mga nagdaang dekada ay mayroong matinding kwento ang South Korea na dapat hangaan.
Look, I'm not going to get into the decisions that were made, political decisions that were made in South Korea. All I can say is, as Korea's staunch ally, as a country that also believes that Korea has such an important story to tell to the world because of the extraordinary emergence not only of a democracy, but a strong, resilient democracy, we want to see that sustained because it's in our interest and it's a partnership that's critical to us, but also because of what it says to the world. So I think it's very important how our allies resolve any internal differences. As I said, we're watching it closely, but it's good to see that the martial law declaration was rescinded and that the political process is moving pursuant to the rule of law.
Sa ngayon ay patuloy na inoobserbahan ng Estados Unidos ang mga kaganapan sa bansang South Korea.
Itinalaga ni U.S. President-elect Donald Trump ang dating Georgia Senator na si David Perdue bilang ambassador to China. Ayon kay Trump, si Perdue ay magdadala ng mahalagang eksperyensya upang bumuo ng matibay na ugnayan sa China dahil sa kanyang matagal ng pagtatrabaho sa Asia. Anya, magiging mahalaga ang dating senador sa pagpapatupad ng estratehiya ni Trump upang mapanatili ang kapayapaan sa rehiyon. Ngunit kilala rin si Perdue sa kanyang tough stance laban sa China noong panahon niya sa Senado. Noong 2018, sinabi niya na kailangang magkaroon ng long-term plan para makipag-compete sa lumalaking influence ng China sa mundo.
Naglabas sa mga donor countries ng record $100 billion para sa 3-year replenishment ng World Bank Fund para sa poorest countries of the world. Inanunsyo ito ng World Bank nitong Biyernes sa Seoul, South Korea sa isang pledging conference para sa International Development Association. Ang pondong ito ay mas mataas kaysa sa $93 billion na inanunsyo noong December 2021, subalit kulang pa rin sa $120 billion na hinihingi ng African countries. Gayunpaman, sinabi ng World Bank na ang pondo ay makatutulong pa rin upang makagawa ng life-changing investments ang bangko.
Susunod, magnitude 7 earthquake sa Northern California coast.
Isang bus sa India na sunog!
At Manny Pacquiao pasok sa Boxing Hall of Fame. Detalye ng mga balitang yan at iba pang mga balita sa pagbabalik ng Mata ng Agila International.
Life begins at retirement is all about embracing the joy of being ageless and active, where every day is a new adventure and the best is yet to come. Join us as we dive into the stories, the successes, and the endless possibilities that come with embracing life after work. Because life truly begins when you retire. Ayan ang ating aabangan ngayong Sabado at Linggo sa itong tahanan, alas 8 hanggang alas 9 ng umaga sa NET25.
Let's net together sa NET25. Sa NET25.
Nothing is quite as simple as it seems. To understand the world better, we need to take a closer look. Experience knowledge. Tomorrow today.
Niyanig ng isang magnitude 7 earthquake ang baybayin ng Northern California. Alamin natin ang mga detalye mula kay Pearl Rogacion.
Matapos magkaroon ng tsunami warning para sa kaban ng California at Oregon coasts, kinansela ito ng mga otoridad ng kumalma ang baybayin. Ayon sa National Weather Service, may 4.7 million na mga residente ang sumailalim ng tsunami warning sa loob ng ilang oras. Ang lindol na tumama ng lalim na 10 kilometers ay nakasentro ng 63 kilometers west ng Ferndale, California. Ayon sa U.S. Geological Survey, ang Ferndale ay isang bahagi ng baybayin ng Northern California na may kalat-kalat na populasyon. May 19,000 na mga kliyente ang nawalan ng kuryente sa Humboldt County. Sa kasalukuyan nakatakdang suriin ng mga opisyal ang damage na dulot ng lindol. Walang naiulat na nasaktan sa pangyayari. Pearl Rogacion para sa Mata ng Agila International. Trusted, connected, on point.
Nakataas sa general alert ngayon ang gobyerno ng Congo dahil sa pagkalat ng misteryosong flu-like disease matapos ang pagkasawi ng ilang katao. Ayon sa Health Ministry ng Congo, aabot na sa 71 katao ang kumpirmadong patay. Kinabibilangan ito ng 27 katao sa pagamutan habang mayroong 44 naman ang nasawi sa kanilang mga bahay sa Congo Province. Sa nasabing mga nasawi sa pagamutan ay 10 sa kanila ay dahil sa kawalan ng dugo habang 17 ang nagkaroon ng respiratory problems. Karamihan sa mga biktima ay nakaranas sa mga sintomas kagaya ng lagnat, pananakit ng ulo, matinding ubo at anemia. Kumuha na ang mga epidemiological experts ng mga samples at kanilang iniimbestigahan na ang nasabing sakit. Magugunitang noong mga nakaraang buwan ay idineklara ang Mpox epidemic sa Congo kung saan mayroong 47,000 cases ang naitala. Mayroong mahigit sa 1,000 na katao ang nasawi mula sa nasabing sakit.
Ligtas at nasa mabuting lagay ang 15 estudyante sa India matapos mailikas mula sa nooy masusunog pa lamang na school bus. Ayon sa lokal na ulat, pabalik na sana sa kanilang paaralan ng mga estudyante nang napansin nila na umuusok ang engine section ng kanilang sasakyan. Dito na agad na rumesponde ang driver at pinababa ang mga bata. Makalipas ng ilang minuto ay tuluyan ang nabalot ng apoy ang sasakyan. Sumugod naman ang Pune Fire Brigade sa lugar para apulahin ang sunog. Wala namang napaulat na nasaktan sa insidente at patuloy namang inaalam ng mga otoridad ang sanhi nito.
Kalunos-lunos ang lagay na sinapit ng isang babae sa Peru matapos itong masabugan ng isang electrical box at mahulog pa sa isang butas. Kita po sa CCTV na naglalakad lamang ang babae sa daan nang biglang sumabog ang electrical box. Mapapansin ding tinamaan din siya ng metal cover ng electrical box at tuluyang nang pumasok sa isang butas. Ay mabuti na lamang po ay may nagpapatrolyang mga militar sa lugar at kaagad siyang natulungan. Ayon sa Risk Management Office sa lugar, sumabog ang electrical box dahil sa power overload ng kable nito habang kinukumpuni ito ng mga electricians. Hindi naman lubusang nasaktan ang biktima. Samantala, itinanggi naman ng Plus Energy, ang kumpanya na nagmamay-ari ng electrical box, ang anumang responsibilidad sa nasabing insidente.
Inanunsyo ng Amazon na naging matagumpay ang pagpapalipad ng kanilang delivery drone sa himpapawid ng Italia. Ayon sa online retail giant, sinubukan itong paliparin sa San Salvo, isang bayan sa Abruzon region. Ang drone ng Amazon ay isang MK-30 drone, isang high automated drone system na pinatatakbo ng computer vision program ng kumpanya. Higit sa Italy ay naglunsad din ang Amazon ng ganitong deliver service sa Britain ngayong taon. Noong December 2022, naging unang-unang inilunsad ng Amazon ang kanilang Prime Air Drone Package Delivery sa Estados Unidos. Dahil naging epektibo ito, ay nagpatuloy ang pagpapalawak ng serbisyo hanggang sa ibayong dagat.
Nahalal po sa International Boxing Hall of Fame si Filipino boxing legend Manny Pacquiao. Magiging bahagi siya ngayon ng Hall of Fame Class of 2025. Si Pacman po lamang ang tanging boksingerong nakapagkamit ng title belt o titulo sa 8 weight divisions mula flyweight hanggang sa super welterweight. Taong 2021 ang tuluyang magretiro sa boxing ang Pinoy Southpaw boxer matapos ang 72 laban sa kanyang buong karera kung saan mayroon siyang 62 panalo, 8 talo at 2 draw. Siya rin ang unang atletang Pinoy na naitampok sa Time Magazine sa listahan ng World's 100 Most Influential People noong taong 2009. Ikinatuwa naman ng 45-year-old na si Pacquiao ang pagkakapili sa kanya ng Hall of Fame. Isang karangalan para sa kanya na dalhin ang pangalan ng Pilipinas sa buong mundo.
Nakatakdang magsagawa ng world tour sa susunod na taon ang K-pop group na Blackpink. Ayon sa kanilang agency na YG Entertainment, kasabay din ng kanilang world tour ang paglabas ng kanilang bagong album. Ilan sa mga stops nila ang North America, Europe, Asia at South America. Ang nasabing world tour concert ay kasunod ng matagumpay na Born Pink World Tour na isa sa mga highest grossing tours by a female group.
Susunod, mga gamit ni American football star Tom Brady nakatakdang i-auction sa Sotheby's.
Ang world's oldest known wild bird ng itlog sa Hawaii sa edad na 74.
At abangan ang iba pa mga istorya pagdating ni Alma Angeles at ng mata ng Agila, World News. Iba pang mga balita sa pagbabalik ng Mata ng Agila International.
Ng Corina Interviews. Sino ba naman ang hindi kinilig sa Francet? Ano na nga ba ang kanilang score? Ang kanilang mga eksena off-cam na mula sa hirap tulad ni Francine, laging halos mapalayas ang pamilya sa inuupahang bahay noon. Amlang daw ang pinapagatas sa bunsong kapatid. Si Seth naman, sinisisi ba niya ang kanyang sarili sa pagkaka-stroke ng tatay? At eto na, binago na ng showbiz ang kanilang kapwa buhay. Paano nangyari yon? Yan at maraming iba pa dito lang sa Corina Interviews, Sunday 6 p.m. pagkatapos ng comedy series na Goodwill sa NET25.
Sa NET25.
Tumuto at pakibalita sa mga pangyayari at kaganapan sa loob at labas ng bansa.
Dito sa Mata ng Agila sa tanghali, Lunes hanggang Biyernes.
Alas 12 ng tanghali, dito lang sa NET25.
At sabayang mapapakinggan sa Radyo Agila DZEZ 1062. Matatag!
Matapang!
Matapat!
Let's net together. Sa NET25. Sa NET25.
In this generation where digital transformation is no longer just an option but a necessity, this initiative will be instrumental in helping negosyantes transition online, expand the reach, and navigate the challenges of the modern marketplace.
I am pleased to announce this program that we have. It's called Online Negosyo Program.
Itong programa po adds a new feature which is DQ, Digital Quotient.
We're able to expand their impact by helping out in our own small way in the learning modules.
Online Business, an Open for Business with Cesar Vallejos. Sunday, 9 p.m.
Sa NET25.
Papasok sa auction block ng Sotheby's ang ilang pre-loved items ni American football star Tom Brady sa December 10. Ang koleksyon ni Brady ay binubuo ng 21 mga relo kung saan ipinapakita rito ang mga disenyo mula sa sports, vintage at modern times. Inaasahan na papalo ang relo ni Brady na Audemars Piguet 99 Royal Oak na kilala sa tawag na The Roast sa hanggang $400,000 hanggang $800,000. Ang relong ito ay kilala dahil sa nameplate ni Brady na nakalagay sa loob nito na gawa sa diamante. Kasama rin na isusubasta ang wristband ni Brady na isinuot niya nang nanalo siya ng Super Bowl.
Magiging isang ina muli ang world's oldest known wild bird matapos mangitlog kahit siya ay nasa edad na 74 na. Ayon sa U.S. wildlife officials, si Wisdom ay isang Laysan albatross na bumalik sa Hawaii mula sa kanyang migration. Ito na nila ang pang-siyamnapung itlog ni Wisdom sa kanyang talambuhay. Noong taong 2006 pa nang unang bumisita si Wisdom sa Hawaii para mangitlog taon-taon. Ang kabiyak naman ni Wisdom na si Akea Kamai ang bahala naman na maglilimlim sa mga itlog. Ayon sa mga wildlife experts, inaabot ang halos 7 buwan para mapisa ang mga itlog ng mga albatros at matapos ng 5 hanggang 6 na buwan ay handa nang lumipad ang mga sisiw nito. Ang karaniwang lifespan ng isang Laysan albatross ay umaabot ng 68 taon. Ayon po yan sa National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration.
Samantala, pinangalanan naman ng Pantone ang Mocha Mousse bilang Color of the Year 2025. Bilang isang tao ng tradisyon, ang kumpanyang Pantone ay naglalabas ng Color of the Year na nagdidikta sa mga pinakamagagandang kulay na nakita nilang babagay sa tema ng susunod na taon. Ang tinawag nilang evocative soft brown o warm shade ng brown na tinawag nilang mocha mousse ang kanilang napili dahil sa lambot nito sa mata at pagbagay ng naturang kulay sa kutis ng karamihan ng tao. Ayon kay Leatrice Eisman na direktor ng Pantone Color Institute ay nagpapakita ito ng sophistication at complexity kahit hindi nawawala ang classic humble status nito sa fashion industry.
In fashion ka talaga ngayon.
Sabihin ko sana, I 100% agree. Akalain mo naman yan.
Diba?
Wala ba silang sasabihin tungkol sa polka dots?
Mali mo naman.
Baka next
din yan, diba?
Diba? Anyway.
Ang galing nga. Wala akong masabi.
Diba? Parang feeling ko tuloy sorbetes ako.
Sorbetes ka ngayon. Pero ang cute nga, parang balik ka sa 1950s.
Oo, ganyan.
Pero sa akmang-akma talaga ang kulay mo ngayon sa Pantone.
Diba?
Fashion
Yun pala na-predict ko yata. Pero pang next year pa daw, na-advance ko naman ata.
Sa akin naman siguro nagbibigay pugay ako kay wisdom. O diba?
O, diba?
May palipad.
Oo nga, diba? May papakpak ka dyan.
Ayan. Pero imagine mo, akalain mo, Nina.
Akalain mo, Ricky.
Akalain mo, nakapanganak pa siya ng ano, diba? Akala mo ito na.
Akalain mo.
Diba? Tinalo niya ang humans dyan.
Ang galing ng ng lifespan ng mga ilang hayop na talagang tumatagal ng sobrang tagal.
At kakaiba tong si Wisdom. Gusto niya laging sa Hawaii pa.
Diba? Pumunta daw doon para mangitlog taon-taon. Grabe naman.
Buti lang wala siyang passport at visa.
Oo, diba? Wala. Hindi issue ang migration, etc. Sana all.
Nako, sana all. Ayan, akalain mo, Nina.
Ayun na, ito na.
Akalain mo, Friday na naman.
Yun nga.
Ako, mamimiss po namin kayo. Pero I hope you have a wonderful weekend with your loved ones. Kasi Friday na naman. At huwag niyo po kami masyado mamiss dahil sa Lunes ay nandito po ulit kami ni Nina para maghatid ng balita sa amang dako ng mundo. Muli ako po si Ricky Maray. Happy weekend, everybody.
Happy weekend po sa inyong lahat at lagi po kayong mag-iingat. Ako po si Nina Richie Alago Flores. Ito ang Mata ng Agila International. Para po sa mga balitang nangyari pa rin sa iba't ibang panig ng mundo, punta naman po tayo kay Alma Angeles para sa Mata ng Agila World News. Take it away, Alma.
Thank you, Nina and Ricky. Good evening, everyone. I'm Alma Angeles for NET25 World News. On tonight's headlines, new images have emerged of a person of interest in the murder of a health insurance CEO. Authorities reveal details of the fake ID the suspect allegedly used, where investigators think he disposed of his backpack, and the ominous messages found on shell casings. A powerful earthquake has struck the Pacific Northwest, triggering a tsunami warning.
That was lifted. Nonetheless, we're concerned about damage, particularly in the northern part of the state, in Del Norte, Mendocino, and Humboldt County as a consequence of that.
Hamas issues a stark warning. If Israel attempts any rescue missions in Gaza, all hostages could be killed. Indonesia and the Philippines have signed an agreement for the repatriation of a Filipina sentenced to death for drug trafficking. And the news starts now. Indonesia and the Philippines reached an agreement today for the repatriation of Mary Jane Veloso, the Filipina sentenced to death for drug trafficking. The agreement was signed in Jakarta by Indonesia's Senior Law and Human Rights Minister Yusril Ija Mahendra and Philippine Justice Undersecretary Raul Vasquez.
Jadi pemerintah Filipina menghormati putusan pengadilan Indonesia atas kasus Mary Jane Veloso dan tidak mempersoalkannya. Dan hari ini kita menyepakati pemulangan narapidana tersebut.
I would like to emphasize our heartfelt gratitude and deep appreciation for the generous gesture on the part of the Indonesian government and the Indonesian President and His Excellency that facilitated the transfer of a sentenced person in the person of our citizen, Mary Jane Veloso. this had been a long and tedious process of 10 years. And what a fitting end to have a gift like this during Christmas, December 2024.
Veloso, a mother of two and domestic worker, was arrested in 2010 in Yogyakarta after 2.6 kilograms of heroin was found hidden in her suitcase. And despite being sentenced to death, she was granted a last-minute reprieve in 2015. Her execution was halted after the Philippine government appealed to the then Indonesian President Joko Widodo, allowing Veloso to testify against members of a human trafficking and drug smuggling ring. Veloso has always maintained her innocence, claiming she was unknowingly used as a drug mule by a Philippine employment recruiter. South Korea is facing a political firestorm. President Yoon Suk-yeol, under pressure from his own party, is being urged to step down after declaring martial law earlier this week, a move that shocked the nation and sparked comparisons to the country's dark days of military rule. Take a look.
South Korean President Yoon Suk-yeol's own party members called for his removal Friday. In a press briefing, leader of the ruling People Power Party, Han Dong-hoon, said Yoon, who shocked the nation by enacting martial law on Tuesday, must be removed in the best interests of the country. But he stopped short of calling for impeachment.
I said yesterday that I would try not to pass this impeachment in order to prevent damage to the people and supporters caused by the unprepared chaos. But I believe that President Yoon Suk-yeol's immediate suspension of office is necessary to protect the Republic of Korea and its people in the light of the newly revealed facts.
Han also said Yoon had ordered the arrest of prominent politicians on claims they were among, quote, anti-state forces. However, South Korea's Yonhap news agency later reported the presidential office denying it had given such an order. Meanwhile, more details are emerging about the chaos that engulfed Seoul on Tuesday night. Yoon's declaration shocked the nation, and parliament, including some in Yoon's own party, voted to oppose it. It was the country's first martial law enactment since 1980 and revived painful memories of its Cold War-era military rule. A special warfare commander speaking on social media of an opposition lawmaker had said he defied an order to drag lawmakers out of parliament and told his troops not to carry live ammunition. The main opposition Democratic Party has scheduled a vote on Yoon's impeachment for Saturday. On Friday, its leader Lee Jae-myung again called for Yoon to step aside.
The declaration of martial law on December 3rd was a rebellion waged by the president in order to maintain or extend his power. It's an act of insurrection. It's a self-coup. The president, who threatened the life of the sovereign people with unconstitutional and illegal acts, cannot be entrusted with national administration even for a moment. We should exclude him from his duties and let our people decide whether he can maintain the position or not.
The National Police have launched investigations into Yoon and Kim Yong-yeon, the defense minister who allegedly encouraged him to declare martial law and who has since resigned. Government and military prosecutors are also conducting a joint investigation into the martial law decision, according to broadcaster YTN. Meanwhile, Acting Defense Chief Kim Son-ho said Friday rumors of a second martial law declaration being planned were untrue, and if such an order were given, he said the Ministry of National Defense and Joint Chiefs of Staff would not obey it.
And Ryong confrontation with soldiers outside South Korea's parliament, which quickly went viral, has become a symbol of resistance against President Yoon Suk-yeol's controversial martial law declaration. The spokesperson for the opposition Democratic Party, who grabbed a soldier's gun in a scuffle to block troops from entering the National Assembly, said her only goal was to stop them, as lawmakers and citizens rallied against Yoon's attempt to consolidate power. The country now faces growing calls for impeachment and investigations into the martial law order.
The moment Ahn Gui-ryong confronted soldiers outside South Korea's parliament went viral. But the woman, who grabbed a soldier's gun in protest against martial law, told Reuters on Thursday she just had to stop them. Ahn has become a symbol of the public's rejection of President Yoon Suk-yeol's attempt to impose military rule. The spokesperson for the opposition Democratic Party was among those to block troops entering the main hall of the National Assembly.
I didn't grab the gun first. While blocking the martial law troops, we got into a scuffle. I think someone grabbed my arm and something hit my body. So while trying to block the martial law troops, I didn't consciously grab the gun. My only thought was that I just needed to stop them. I pushed them away, shook them off, and did everything I could.
Yoon's declaration of martial law this week sought to consolidate power, ban political activity and censor the media. But he was forced to abandon it after 190 lawmakers defied a contingent of soldiers and voted unanimously to reject it. In protest, people also formed human chains around the parliament and sprayed soldiers with fire extinguishers.
There were many people braver than me who stood up to the martial law troops, citizens who couldn't get into the National Assembly because the military and police blocked them. People even managed to stop armored fighting vehicles outside, so I don't think my actions were particularly special, and I didn't expect the video to gain so much attention.
The martial law troops commander said on Thursday he had no intention to wield firearms against the public. The country's vice defense minister said no live ammunition was provided to the troops. South Korean opposition lawmakers plan to vote this weekend to impeach the president. His move towards martial law sparked outrage in the streets and concern among South Korea's international allies. Police said they were investigating claims of treason against Yoon and top ministers.
A powerful magnitude 7.0 earthquake struck Northern California, sparking a tsunami warning for millions along the coast from the southern Oregon to San Francisco Bay Area. Here's more. The tremor, the state's strongest in more than 5 years, sent shockwaves through California, leaving residents shaken.
I just got off the phone as we were driving over with our state office emergency, and we've now put together what we refer to as our SOC. We've referred all our efforts to focus now on a 7.0 earthquake in Northern California. There was a tsunami warning that came out. That tsunami warning was lifted. It is part of a protocol, tsunami warnings, anytime you're 5.0 or greater around a coastal region, typically goes into effect. It allows us to back off through abundance of caution. That was lifted. Nonetheless, we're concerned about damage, particularly in the northern part of the state, in Del Norte and Mendocino in Humboldt County. As a consequence of that, I just signed off on a state of emergency, a declaration that will allow us to provide more resources, provide some of our National Guard resources as needed. Early damage assessments are being made. We don't have any additional information at this time, but our teams are working collaboratively with the teams on the ground.
At least 5 million coastal residents from Oregon to San Francisco were urged to seek higher ground. While the quake's damage could have been far worse, with many buildings still standing, power outages were reported. Despite the relatively light damage, today's event has reminded Californians of the importance of being prepared for the big one.
Within the past hour, a major earthquake did occur off the coast of far northern California, so southwest of Eureka. It's about a magnitude 7 earthquake, which is pretty strong, and also it was relatively shallow. I think 8 kilometers or about 5 miles deep. So that is an earthquake with quite a lot of energy that was actually felt at the surface. So the fact that it was a relatively shallow magnitude 7 is part of why the shaking along parts of the north coast was confirmed by accelerometers that the USGS has installed to be strong or even very strong. So there were very strong ground motions on land that presumably have affected people and infrastructure. I think the warning was issued in this case because it was a shallow earthquake, so there is slightly increased potential for tsunami genesis if that earthquake is able to result in significant shaking all the way near the surface. And then also there was at least some vertical displacement. So although it looks like it was primarily strike slip, parallel plate slipping past each other without a lot of vertical displacement, there was maybe a little bit of vertical displacement. Okay, so now that tsunami warning has been canceled for all affected regions, I think everybody can relax a little bit about that, although this would probably not be a good day to go out on a small craft or to go swimming or surfing, because there still may be very erratic, strong currents and waves that will behave unusually and perhaps make it further up on the beach than usual. That's still possible.
The hunt is on for the gunman who fatally shot United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson in a brazen attack in New York City. Now today, authorities released new images of the suspect, urging the public to come forward with any information. A chilling detail has emerged from this investigation. Bullet casings recovered from the crime scene bore the words deny and delay and depose, and police are now searching for the distinctive backpack seen in the photos, which they believe may have been discarded in Central Park, possibly containing the murder weapon. Here's more.
New York City police on Thursday released new photos with a clear view of the face of the suspect wanted for killing United Health executive Brian Thompson outside a Midtown Manhattan hotel a day earlier. They also searched a hostel on Manhattan's Upper West Side, where the suspect is believed to have been staying, CNN reported.
The driver told me he was hanging around whole night waiting for the guy, the shooter, and he just inside the car waiting for him. Soon he see him, he just shot him. That's all I know.
That's got to be pretty shocking, I mean, to have that happen.
Yeah, it's very shocking. It's never been. I'm here 20 years. I never see like this thing.
But you hear that the shooter was actually waiting for him.
Yeah, that's the driver told me. The driver was waiting outside whole night. He's for his passenger. So he told me this guy was here outside whole night.
The attack, which investigators called premeditated, came just before the company's annual investor conference at the Hilton. According to police sources who spoke to ABC and the New York Post, the words deny, defend, and depose were carved into the shell casings found at the scene. Words that evoke the title of a book critical of the insurance industry published in 2010.
True copycats is if no one had this in their mind beforehand, all of a sudden now they think they want to do the same thing to someone else. But I think like what we've seen in school shootings and things, people that have been thinking about it now see the effects of it. And they want those effects. So someone who may have been thinking about it that was angry, saw this happen, and then now starts taking more action. I think you're going to see a lot more threats out there. Threats are, again, to scare people in the industry that you're mad at. Now they can reference this. The threat can come in. You saw what happened to him in New York. I'm going to do that to you. And the companies now have to, one, it's going to scare the executives more. And the companies now have to look at spending money for security. So I think those threats are going to increase. I don't know if you're going to see a true copycat, but you're also seeing a lot of people out there saying how evil healthcare is and how they deny things. And they're seeing that part of the public is, I don't want to say supportive, but there's a bunch of memes out there making fun of, like, he didn't have pre-existing conditions for what happened in his healthcare. So they're making fun of this incident. And I think the healthcare companies have to take note of that and understand the public is not very supportive of them.
A New York City Police Department spokesperson would not comment on the report. Thompson's wife, Paulette, told NBC News that the United Health Insurance Unit CEO had been receiving threats related to his job, but said she did not know the details.
I think absolutely this incident is going to cause some companies to look at their security.
Rob D'Amico is a retired FBI special agent and security consultant.
I do a lot of security assessments for companies. One, if they have security, I see if that security is actually providing what they should be doing. Should it be tailored in a different manner? I've had CEOs tell me, well, I have 2 security guys, but they're in the office with me, which is really hard to get in. But at night when I'm alone, I don't have security. And that's a mixed match of threats and having security where you really don't have as big a threat. So the assessments, if they have security, do we need to improve it or increase it? And if they don't have security, why don't they have security?
United Health is the largest U.S. health insurer and provides benefits to tens of millions of Americans who pay more for health care than people in any other country. Thompson, a father of 2, joined United Health in 2004 and became the CEO of United Healthcare, a unit of United Health Group, in April 2021.
To the Middle East, where Hamas has issued a chilling warning if Israel attempts rescue missions in Gaza. all hostages could be killed. Senior Hamas officials reportedly directed operatives to neutralize hostages if Israeli military activity escalates. The group has made it clear that the hostages' fate now hinges on Israel's actions. Recent reports confirm that some hostages have already been killed during rescue operations in Gaza.
Today, it has been cleared for publication that during an ISA operation supported by the IDF, the body of Israeli hostage Itai Svirsky was successfully recovered from the Gaza Strip and returned to Israel for burial. Itai was kidnapped from his parents' home in Kibbutz Be'eri on October 7th. His parents were murdered by Hamas terrorists. Itai was kidnapped alive and was held for about 4 months with Yossi Sharabi and Noah Argamani. In January, we announced he was murdered, and together with him, Yossi Sharabi was killed. התחקיר בחן את נסיבות מותם של החטופים והעלה מספר אפשרויות. האפשרות אותה אנחנו מעריכים כסבירה ביותר היא כי בעקבות התקיפה המחבלים רצחו את החטופים והמחבלים עצמם נהרגו כתוצאה מתוצר לוואי של התקיפה.
Israel has accused Hamas of prolonging the conflict by refusing to return hostages and endangering them during rescue missions. Over 100 individuals, including American citizens, remain captive. Israel maintains that returning the hostages is the foremost priority, with efforts underway to pressure Hamas into a possible hostage deal.
לגבי עזה, הדבר החשוב ביותר היום במלחמה בכלל זה להחזיר את החטופות והחטופים הביתה. זו המטרה העליונה שניצבת מול עינינו, ואנחנו פועלים בכל דרך כדי שהדבר הזה יקרה. אני חושב שבזכות הפעילות העצימה שאתם חלק מרכזי בה, גם המורתעות המסוימת של איראן וגם מה שקורה בלבנון ובכל המקומות, עוצמת הלחץ על הארגון המפלצתי הזה שנקרא חמאס היא גוברת, ויש סיכוי שהפעם באמת נוכל לקדם עסקת חטופים ולהחזיר, ואנחנו פועלים בעניין הזה ורואים את המטרה הזאת לנגד עינינו.
Meanwhile, President-elect Donald Trump has issued a stern ultimatum, warning Hamas to release the hostages before his January 20th inauguration or face severe consequences. Hamas, however, has signaled that further military action could jeopardize any chance of a hostage deal and lead to more fatalities. The situation remains dire, with Hamas threats amplifying the stakes in this escalating crisis. Meanwhile, tens of thousands of people are fleeing Syria's third-largest city, Homs, as fears grow that Islamist-led rebels will continue their advance towards the capital, Damascus. The rebels took control of Hama to the north on Thursday, marking another blow to President Bashar al-Assad's regime, which already lost control of Aleppo this week. Abu Mohammed al-Jawlani, the leader of the Islamist group Hayat Tahrir al-Sham, or HTS, sent a chilling message to the people of Homs. Your time has come. Last week, Syrian rebels launched a surprise offensive and have already captured 2 major cities. Now they're pushing south, and Homs is the next key city on the route to Damascus. So why now? Many from President Assad's Alawite minority group are fleeing Homs, with videos showing roads packed with cars. The Syrian Observatory for Human Rights, a UK-based monitoring group, reports that fighter jets have targeted a bridge connecting Homs and Hama in an effort to slow down the rebels' progress. With the Syrian military losing control of Hama after intense fighting, it's uncertain if they will be able to hold onto Homs, and this city is crucial for Assad as it links the capital to the Alawite heartland on the Mediterranean coast, his political stronghold and key to maintaining power. And the news continues here on NET25. We'll be right back. Donald Trump making a bold move in the tech world, appointing a former PayPal executive to lead the U.S. into the future of AI and cryptocurrency.
Good evening, America.
Donald Trump has named former PayPal executive David Sacks as AI and crypto czar. In a social media post, the president-elect said Sacks would focus on making the U.S. a world leader in both fields. He says his administration will ensure, quote, the crypto industry has the clarity it has been asking for. Trump once labeled such currencies a scam, but embraced the sector during his election campaign. His victory has seen Bitcoin surge on bets that the new administration will be friendlier to digital assets. This week, the top cryptocurrency broke through the $100,000 level for the first time, though it later dropped back. It's up around 50% since Trump's election win. Sacks was formerly chief operating officer at PayPal. Among other things, he also founded the business social network Yammer. He was an early advocate of cryptocurrencies, saying in a 2017 interview that Bitcoin would revolutionize the internet. One analyst told Reuters that Sacks was seen as a strong backer of crypto with a history of investing in tokens besides just Bitcoin. Earlier in the week, Trump named strong crypto advocate Paul Atkins to run the Securities and Exchange Commission. That added to optimism for the sector, with the U.S. financial watchdog hitherto seen as unfriendly to crypto.
As Bitcoin soared above $100,000 for the first time, an analyst attributed the surge to a rejection of the established values of society and the elites. Take a look.
Bitcoin catapulted above $100,000 for the first time ever on Thursday, a milestone hailed even by skeptics of the digital asset. The historic surge comes as investors bet on a crypto-friendly incoming U.S. administration, with President-elect Donald Trump a day earlier nominating pro-crypto attorney Paul Atkins to run the Securities and Exchange Commission. The appointment of Atkins, a former top SEC official who has advocated for deregulation, could provide relief for a crypto industry that has chafed under President Joe Biden's hard-charging SEC chair, Gary Gensler. Dan Ives is global head of tech research at Wedbush Securities.
Deregulation clearly is going to happen. A new SEC chair that looks like pro-Bitcoin. Very bullish in terms of this dynamic. So I think a big piece of what we're seeing here is a Trump bump, but I don't think it stops because I think Trump can be pretty aggressive when it comes to Bitcoin once he's in the White House.
Bitcoin has more than doubled in value this year and is up more than 50% in the 4 weeks since Trump's election victory, which also saw a slew of pro-crypto lawmakers elected to Congress. Analysts say the growing embrace of Bitcoin by big investors this year has been a driving force behind the record-breaking rally. But Mark Chandler, chief market strategist at Bannockburn Global Forex, sees Bitcoin's rise as part of a bigger social and political movement.
The ground that we've been standing on is moving, and these shifting sands, and in this kind of turmoil, we don't know really what's going to be the winners, what's going to be the losers. And I think that in this, and when you're rejecting it, like many of the elections, especially in the industrialized countries this year, have rejected the incumbents. And so I sort of see Bitcoin as part of this rejection of sort of the established values and not just the values of society, but really of the elites.
The total value of the cryptocurrency market has almost doubled over the year to hit a record of over $3.8 trillion, surpassing the value of Apple, according to data provider CoinGecko.
Ireland is at a standstill after Friday's parliamentary elections, with no party securing a clear majority. And the housing crisis, rising living costs, and immigration dominated voter concerns, leaving the nation to wonder who will lead and what comes next. Aribel Celestino reports from London.
What's next for Ireland's government? Friday's parliamentary elections have left the country in political limbo, with no clear majority in sight. The key issues driving voters: a housing crisis, soaring living costs, and rising immigration. Problems that have fueled frustration after years of pandemic and economic pressures. Ireland faces an acute housing shortage, despite being one of Europe's wealthiest nations. Why is this happening? Rents are skyrocketing and many young people can't afford to move out. Add to that the highest proportion of young people in Europe struggling to pay for housing. Meanwhile, immigration is adding to the strain, with 120,000 people moving to Ireland in the last year, its highest influx since 2007. So where does the election leave us? Fine Gael and Fianna Fáil Ireland's two major centre-right parties are likely to stay in power but need smaller coalition partners to govern. Could this mean prolonged talks and a shaky alliance? That uncertainty looms, especially with U.S. President-elect Donald Trump taking office soon. Trump's plans to cut corporate taxes and impose tariffs could hit Ireland's economy hard. Will Fine Gael and Fianna Fáil need more allies to cross the finish line? Political analyst Michael Gallagher estimates Fianna Fáil could win 48 seats, with Fine Gael adding 39, close but not quite enough for a majority. Prime Minister Simon Harries expressed optimism despite the uncertainty.
Our electoral system dictates that there'll be many transfers that will go on for hours, if not days, before we know the final composition of the Dáil. But what I am very confident about is that my party will have a very significant role to play in the years ahead, and I'm cautiously optimistic and excited about what the weeks ahead hold.
With their history of sharing leadership roles, will Fine Gael and Fianna Fáil strike another power-sharing deal? That seems likely, but how stable will the next government be? For now, Ireland waits. Reporting from London, United Kingdom, this is Arabelle Celestino for NET25 World News.
Canadian households are set to receive a much-needed financial boost as the government implements a temporary tax break on essential goods starting December 14th.
Starting December 14th, Canadians won't need to pay taxes on certain retail and food items for 2 months to provide relief on individuals and families amidst growing inflation and economy concerns. Businesses will be expected to remove goods and services tax or harmonized sales tax, GST or HST.
Canadians have been through a lot. They work hard. We see that. We've been able to get through the past couple of years. Everyone had to tighten their belts a little bit. And now we're going to be able to give a tax break for all Canadians. For 2 months, starting December 14th, we're going to remove the GST, HST from groceries, 100% of groceries, all groceries. We're going to remove the GST from restaurant meals, takeouts, fast food. Removing the GST for essentials like kids' clothing, footwear, diapers, and toys. All tax-free, removing the GST and HST. For 2 months, Canadians are going to get a real break on everything they do.
Imported qualifying goods will also be tax-free within the period of December 14, 2024 to February 15, 2025. This year-end tax break for qualifying goods will save Canadians an estimated of $1.6 billion on federal taxes. Within Ontario, families will save over $100 on GST and over $260 on HST over the 2-month period. According to Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, this proposed measure will help Canadians have more money in their pockets and to help them afford the things they need and save for the things they want.
We also know that there's more we need to do, particularly for working Canadians. So if you worked in 2023 and earned up to $150,000, we're going to be sending you a check for $250 in just a few months. Our government can't set prices at checkout, but we can put more money in people's pockets. The Working Canadians rebate of $250, which will be sent to people in April, is going to give people that relief they need. And the tax break over the next 2 months is going to help on the costs of everything as we approach the holidays, as we get into the new year. These are things that recognize that people are squeezed, and we're there to help.
Chantal Santos, Toronto, Ontario, for NET25 World News.
And with that, we end tonight's program. For NET25, for everyone here on NET25, I'm Alma Angeles. Have a great weekend, everyone. Good night.